The mic on? There we go. Thank you very much, Jenna. That was a lovely introduction, and thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present today. So, as Jenna said, my name is Charlie Wade. I'm the UK Managing Director for VTS. I think this is my clicker. There we go, it's working. I've been asked to talk to you today about transformation. So the goal of this session is to discuss what transformation means, what's happening in the industry, but also to introduce the next panel, which is the tech-enabled brokerage. So I'm going to focus a little bit around there. I've learned two things about transformation in my time at VTS. The first one is that it is inevitable, and the second one is that it starts off slow and then happens really quickly. It's been a busy year. It's been a busy year for the industry. Jenna touched on a few of the points there, but it's also been a very busy year for VTS. Quick sort of summary on what we've been up to. We made 3 big announcements in the last year. The first was MarketView. So MarketView is the industry's real-time market analytics and benchmarking tool, which is now live in Houston. We're launching into 4 additional markets later this year, and the data set in itself is incredibly exciting. Tim and the team might talk about it, but it's the real-time analytics around leasing, asset management, rents, rent freeze, how long deals are taking, transaction cycles, some of the stuff that we talk about anecdotally put into reality. The second piece is Marketplace. We announced the name of this last week at our big conference. It's called Truva. Marketplace, more to come on this. If you want to sort of get a little bit of a scoop as to what we're doing and working on, come and check us out on the VTS stand opposite the big green CBRE stand. And the third one was VTS 3. This was an enhancement of our current platform, the ecosystem to help landlords, agents collaborate and fundamentally become the operating system for commercial real estate. As a company, our growth has been very exciting. We have more square footage being managed on our platform than ever before. This is just a metric we use to try and put our growth into a number that would kind of resonate with the industry. But I think more excitingly and more important is the integrations and the partnerships that we've been working on over the last 6 or 7 years. So we have over 350 live integrations. That's really, really crucial when you think about what it is as a PropTech player we're trying to do in the industry, which is collaborate, bring systems together, and fundamentally help the end users and landlords operate and do things more efficiently. Office was where we started out, and it's been an exciting journey watching the office sector really transform. But the industrial and the retail sectors are not far behind. So from a VTS perspective, we cover office, industrial, and retail, and we're seeing rapid transformation and growth across those sectors. And it's not just in the US or in the UK. We now operate in over 36 countries, and we've become a truly global operating system for the landlord and agency market. And as Jenna mentioned, we're incredibly excited and proud to announce the largest VC round for the PropTech industry ever. And that announcement went out last week in the Wall Street Journal. So again, any questions about how we're going to spend that money, what we plan on doing, we'd be delighted to talk to anyone here in the audience at our stand a little bit later. But why am I telling you all this? Yes, it's a shameless little plug about VTS because I got the opportunity to do so, but more importantly, it's to try and give a bit of credibility to what I'm about to talk to next. So we are incredibly fortunate that we have in excess of 750 landlord partners that we work and collaborate with every single day that have allowed us to look under the hood of what's really going on within their organizations and give us some perspective into the industry that's very unique and we'd love to share with you here today. I think it's no secret, we are amidst a transformation of our industry. Transformation is taking place in every asset class in lots of different ways. It's at a pace that I don't think anyone really expected, and it's certainly starting to accelerate. There are words associated with transformation: change, disruption. These are things that get banded around quite freely, but what we've learned is that disruption is only something that happens if you are not willing to transform. Transformation can also equal opportunity. Jenna mentioned that there will be winners and losers in the industry. I think that's a key point to think about as you walk around today and as you're talking to partners, delegates, operators, service providers. Is this solution, are these people going to be at the winning end of transformation or potentially at the losing end? Because it's happened in every other industry, it is inevitable it will happen in commercial real estate as well. So what's causing this transformation? Because we need market economics to change and we need things to fundamentally shift in order for transformation to take place. Well, JLL says that 30% of all office inventory will be flexed by 2030. Even if you cut that figure in half, it's billions of square feet that is going to be disrupted in the office sector. Oh, and they're a different color, so you can't read them. But retail is being forced, as I'm sure you're all aware, to change their course. Amazon, e-commerce, etc., is changing the retail landscape forever, and there seems to be an insatiable demand for logistics and for industrial. So again, all three sectors are going through quite dramatic change, which coming together in a perfect storm is leading to this transformation. The key to all of this is it's happening now. It's not tomorrow, it's not next year. As Jenna said, we're not ready yet. Transformation is here, and it's happening today. And as I mentioned, transformation equals opportunity. When transformation happens at the speed at which it is happening now, there is huge opportunity for the industry. It's a beautiful tailwind if you take advantage of it. If you evolve as your customers, your tenants are evolving, the world around you, you have big opportunity, big winners, and fundamentally a very exciting journey ahead. It's not a new thing. I think you've heard that a lot today. Transformation has taken place in other industries. When I started in the commercial real estate game, these were the world's biggest companies. And we've got oil and gas in here, we've got a bank, and of course we've got one technology player. It might surprise you, it might not. These are the largest companies of today, all technology companies. So transformation and technology have gone hand in hand in other sectors, and it's going to happen in the UK. What's super interesting is we look at other sectors, how long it took sectors of old to transform. I think if you look here, the telephone took a little over 100 years to become a reality and really transform the way that we communicate. But you fast forward and you have cell phones, the internet, and VCR, transforming industries in a much faster, more compressed time frame. Things aren't taking 100 years anymore, they're taking 10 years. That is a very realistic cycle of your career or work. This is a company, which I just thought to highlight the point, might really resonate. You can see here it's a 130-year-old company, and it's gone through this concept of change happening slowly and then happening transformation taking place very quickly. It's actually Nintendo. So Nintendo, believe it or not, don't know if you're aware of this, started out making playing cards. So they've been in the gaming industry for a very long time. In the 80s, they got hold of the Nintendo we probably all know and some of us love today. So, in fact, I grew up playing that Mario Brothers game, blowing into the cartridge, sticking it into the thing and saying, come on, please work. The fact that human spit and air could help technology is kind of an interesting concept. But 2019, this is a $40-something billion company. And as you can see, their transformation and change was slow and then accelerated. Super interestingly, they're still the largest playing card maker and manufacturer in Japan. So if you're buying cards in Japan, likely they'll come from Nintendo. Competition comes from unexpected sources. I've jumped across to the US to use an example because it's probably one of the biggest and it will resonate here with everybody. But Walmart used to think of Target and Sears as their biggest competitors. Arguably, Walmart is still one of the most successful big box retailers. And today, it's a bit of a different story. They probably don't think of Target and Sears quite as much as they're concentrating on Amazon. Amazon, let's not forget, is a company who started out selling books. They now sell more products than Walmart, Target, and Sears all put together. So that was just 10 years ago. The question for Walmart is, did they see this coming? Was it on their horizon? Probably not. Let's use a UK example, the cable companies. So we know we've seen mergers, NTL, Virgin Media, etc., all come together. But fundamentally, these are the three cable companies we think of today in the UK that are looking at one another and competing. 5 years ago, maybe. But now, Netflix, YouTube, Freeview, Prime Video, and a host of other online digital marketplaces are eating market share and fundamentally causing these companies to rethink who their competition is and what transformation looks like in their industry. We don't have to look very far, whether it's transportation, whether it's hotels, whether it's the music industry. It is happening all around us. The point here, ladies and gents, is the penalty of ignoring transformation can be extremely painful. And we are best placed, and we're in a position now as an industry to really recognize what that transformation is and take advantage. What are some of the losers that have not done so well and reacted to transformation? This one breaks my heart because as a kid growing up in the 80s, Blockbuster, or 90s, Blockbuster video was a regular weekend staple for me. Jumping down, getting the latest release, going up to that little drop box and saying, oh, it's not on the shelf, maybe someone's just put it in there. I couldn't wait to get my video and watch the latest film on Blockbuster. This is a quote from the CEO of the time, Jim, saying neither Redbox nor Netflix are even on the radar screens in terms of competition. Ouch. BlackBerry, it's another one. I wonder how many people have BlackBerries here today. There's one very proud man at the back there, another one there. I love the BlackBerry. I mean, what's wrong with it, right? It has BBM. You guys can message one another. It has a keyboard. There you go. That's the most important thing, right? Your phone couldn't possibly work without a keyboard. Apple and the iPhone is kind of one more entrant into an already very busy space with lots of choice for consumers. But in terms of a sea change for BlackBerry, I would think that's overstating it. 2007, that wasn't long ago. And we all know how that one played out. Well done to the two of you for rocking the BlackBerry. So the real question is, what do the winners do differently? The winners fundamentally saw this, which you can't see, I don't think. It's a very dark screen, but it's a newspaper clip that says classified across it. And if we think about not too long ago how we'd book our holidays, how we'd look for advertisements, space, for things we wanted to buy in the local magazine, it was in that. And they transformed it into this. They transformed it into a much more enjoyable experience for your consumer, right? For your end user. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is a bit of a formula to the success that I believe we can all follow. And there's a few guiding principles that we at VTS believe every winning company is looking to adopt. I wanted to just take the opportunity to share those with you today. So, first things first, great customer experience. At the forefront of what they've all done, whether you're Uber, Airbnb, Spotify, or Netflix, customer experience comes above all else. 2, they've reduced friction. Whether it's finding something or transacting online, it is easier to do than ever before. Think Amazon Prime. Click a button, delivered the next day. Transparency and pricing and availability. Everything is transparent. There's no opacity in these markets. They don't leave their potential customers wondering how much the thing they're trying to buy actually costs. Buying something is easy. And then finally, it's all powered by technology. There's some very powerful software that sits behind the scenes. Everything happens when it's supposed to happen. It's automated. It's fast. Everybody wins, both the supply and the demand side of the market. So we fundamentally believe you don't need to be a tech startup to use these rules. And I think the best example I have here is a company that you can see has been around for a very long time, fairly long time, and then around 14, 15 started to see its share price go through the roof. Something happened in this company for it to transform and for it to take advantage of the marketplace. Any guesses who this company is? Tesla? Domino's Pizza. There we go. So what did Domino's Pizza do that we can all learn from? So first things first, again, you can't see it on there, but there's a newspaper clip here of why Domino's spent millions on transforming the customer experience, understanding what their consumers and their customers really want, and then fixing it. So they spent a lot of money and a lot of time asking their customers what they want. The second, third, and fourth thing is they'd made it super easy for us to buy pizza. No more calling up, no more waiting, no more uncertainty around where's my pizza, how long is it taking. This is a simple concept of bread, tomato sauce, and cheese. But ultimately, Domino's has taken advantage of the 4 simple principles and basic rules to absolutely explode and grow and transform their business. In fact, they intend to grow an additional 60% over the next 6 years. So their stock chart was already quite impressive. Let's see where it goes. So what's my advice to everyone here in the room? Walk out of here today and say, let's be more like Dominos, right? Let's be more like that company that's using 4 simple rules in order to understand what customers and our end users want and look to transform our industry accordingly. So focusing on our industry now, a couple of examples for you. Last year, this conference talked a lot about the tenants changing expectations. This was because I think everybody realized and understood that we maybe had ignored the end user, the tenant, the customer for maybe a bit too long, and that we were looking to re-engage and figure out what it is that they really want. Have we responded as an industry? Well, probably not fast enough. At VTS, we interviewed about 200 plus tenants, varying from 3,000 square foot to 300,000 square foot requirements, UK, America, all over the place. And interestingly, the feedback we got was pretty consistent across the board. So, and not just tenant experiences, also tenant rep. They were telling us pretty consistently that they lacked the most basic information to make a decision, from pricing to what the space actually looks like, and there was a real lack of transparency in the market. Because of the opacity, they do not trust anyone, which we found super interesting. They don't trust the landlords, they don't trust the agents, they don't even trust their own advisors, which is a worry, right? And they know the move is going to be massively disruptive to their business. I think we all forget finding, acquiring, moving into real estate is not their everyday bread and butter. And this is going to be a huge distraction to their business and take them away from what they do best. Are we as an industry making it easier for them to go and find space, transact in space, ultimately move in? This might not work, but if it does, it's a 1-minute video of the tenants, don't listen to me, in their own words. We'll see.
The entire experience was just very, very mind-boggling.
Overwhelming.
Swollen feet.
A pain in the ass.
Finding the space was a long process for us. The admin on my side, who I drug around with me, wore through a pair of shoes in the process.
Working with one broker, there's always, again, this fear that you're missing out something just because it happens to not be part of their portfolio.
So if we open this availability matrix, you'll see that there's a map of availabilities. The thing that always went through my mind is, I wonder what we would have found if we searched, just one block over. But I guess we're never gonna know.
For me as an entrepreneur, the thing I care about is how much is this gonna cost me in upfront costs and how much is this gonna cost me month to month. And I basically had to take all the numbers that were given to me and redo all the calculations.
I see the rent per square foot, I see the rentable square footage, but then I have to remember that if it's on a full floor, there's a 27% loss factor, but if it's on a partial floor, then I need to remember that there's a 33.5% loss factor.
I never know what the price actually is. I have to ask people, I have to ask opinions. There's this back and forth between me and the broker, back and forth with the broker and the landlord. It gives me a headache, and it's a waste of time.
Then there's the operating costs and the real estate taxes, all different escalations, markups on the electric costs.
I was like, oh, here's a number, but we'd have to move in early, but we don't think we'd be able to stay that long, but.
Does anyone know the going rate per ton of condenser water? I didn't even know what condenser water was. And who measures water by the ton and not by volume? Do we put 20 pounds of gas in our car?
So I was so desperate about our lack of options for our office that I actually went on LinkedIn and made a post. And it was really amazing to see both the volume of comments and shares. I had numerous phone calls from the same brokerage firm. I saw from a seller perspective how disorganized the commercial real estate industry was.
My little company is trying to borrow some space from you. And when we're done with the space, we're gonna give it back. And in exchange for borrowing that space, we're gonna give you $40 million. There has to be a way that you can make this process easier for us.
So last couple of slides, just to kind of sum up what I've been talking about. the question for everyone in this audience, having heard that, is, be honest, which rules are we breaking for the tenants and the customers? The answer is all of them. We're not providing that Airbnb type experience. We're not reducing friction. We're not providing transparency. We're not making it easy for our customers to buy and consume. But there is a small group in the office sector right now, but we're seeing it happen in industrial and retail as well, who have started to figure this out. The flex space providers are arguably disrupting commercial real estate and office as we know it today. They figured out some of the rules, not all of them. They've made it easier for tenants to transact quickly, understand how many people can fit in a space, price it in a way that makes sense to a landlord, no 80-page leases. I don't think they mentioned condenser water when I was acquiring space, as Herb mentioned in the video. However, the big opportunity for them initially is that 90% of their process is actually not powered by technology. So imagine what happens when it is. The formula is working in our industry right now. That is proof of it. So here's the final message. Flex providers and players don't need to be the only winners. We just as an industry need to use the 4 rules. Final plug on us. We believe in partnerships. Fundamentally, we believe in transformation, but we also believe that we're here to help the industry do better and transform. We're here to help our landlords keep pace with change. We developed VTS 1, we developed VTS 2, we're on our 3rd version of the platform today. It's been a slow and steady story. Transformation starts slow, and then it happens very, very quickly. Thank you very much, and look forward to catching up with people afterwards.